Really, everyone's a winner just for attending the IPMS Nationals because they get to share their builds with some of the world's best modelers. Plus, there's a lot of modeling eye candy on the tables. Everything from ships and planes to sci-fi dioramas and incredible figures. With more than 3,500 models on the tables this year, the judges had their work cut out for them in deciding the overall category winners. Here they are, so now it's your turn to decide which you think are best. The best ship model came from Oregon's Doug Bauer, and it was amazing. But let's let Doug tell you about the build.
This is a 1/72nd scale scratch-built Krieg's fish cutter. During World War II, the Germans commandeered a bunch of fishing vessels, North Sea fishing vessels, and took all the fishing gear off and put on armament. This here has a 3.7 millimeter forward gun with a couple of depth charges on the side. My wife crocheted the fiber rope fenders on the boat. It took me about 9 months to complete. It's all scratch built except for I think I borrowed the little life raft from a Schnell boat and the anchor chain. Everything else is scratch built. At the time it was a model nobody else had that I knew of, and I like to build stuff that's unique. So I just was able to get some information, some plans on it, and just worked from there. It's made of sheet styrene, tubing, rod, strip, things like that.
We were wowed by the build and dedication of Arizona's Chris Sobach, who took 7 years to mostly scratch build this Vega-bodied dragster.
Well, this build was started back in 2011. Took me about 7 years of time to get this thing completed, and here and there working on things. The chassis is 90% scratch built from the kit. The rest was used with some evergreen styrene. Engine was a Mark Johnson 1/16 scale 426 Hemi engine, and I made a lot of different multiple parts from 3D printing. For example, like the injector hat, the blower belt, the starter dog on the blower pulley, the fuel pump, the Mallory ignition box was all 3D printed. The headers were scratch built from brass, as well as using a TDR 3D printed Lenco transmission. The seat was scratch built out of brass. Wheels are micro nitro, turned aluminum rims from him, and he also custom machined my aluminum hubs that I drew and gave him prints for. My love of drag racing came from growing up around a top alcohol dragster out in California, and that's what got my blood flowing for my love of drag racing and building 1/16 scale model drag cars.
The best junior entry came from Tucson's Trista Ismail, who created a 1/32nd scale barnyard scene with a variety of hidden items she challenged viewers to find. This year, the Best Space or Sci-Fi Award went to David Carlton of Texas for his 1/35th scale scratch-built Redstone Mercury cutaway. The backstory: David had one arm in a sling at the show and during part of his fabulous build. Californian Jim Wexler came up with the best military vehicle and also had quite a few other detailed builds on the tables. Best diorama went to Ontario's John Robinson, who created an intimate scene of a mechanic working on a 9-cylinder radial engine inside a wintry shelter. His diorama's title, Engine Fix at -40 Celsius. Keith Edward Munt created a beautiful 1/48 scale Lysander French Freedom version with a scratch-built interior that won Best Aircraft Award. Best figure went to a bust of the outlaw Josie Wales as portrayed by Clint Eastwood. Californian Randy Myers made his own cast of the figure for a friend, The winner was his second mold and creation. The Special Excellence in Aircraft Award this year went to Brazil's Inima Siqueiro Fio for his stunning F-100 Super Sabre. And then there was this cool diorama that struck a chord with many at the show. It's Luke Easter's creation of Sully's Hudson cruise, the famous safe landing of U.S. Airways Flight 1549 by Captain Sullenberger in the Hudson River in January of 2009. Here's how Luke, an airline pilot himself, made this realistic diorama.
After the Columbia IPMS Nationals 2 years ago, when they announced Phoenix was going to be here 2 years from now, I was thinking about what I wanted to do, and I put a list together of dioramas that I was thinking about, and then I settled with Sully's Hudson Cruise, which you can see down here. And being an airline pilot, it was kind of close to my heart, and so I decided to build it and go in that direction. I started it about in June of last year, and I worked on it for about 3 months, and then I had some trouble with this area right here on the canopy because it was a resin canopy and the rest of the model was plastic, and I struggled with it, and I put it down for about 4 months and built the Oklahoma diorama. And then I came back and built it, and I built this airplane 3 times before I got it right. But I wanted to add some realism with the inside. You can see the US Air markings on the entry, and I also scratch built all the seats inside. And then I found this police boat, so every scene of the of the Sully's Hudson cruise, you see this Defender police boat. So I found that online, and then I tore everything off of it and scratch built all the antennas and all the wires on it to make it a little bit more realistic. And you see several tugboats that are around the ship. So I found a tugboat from Revell. It's called Fair Play Tugboat. And so I decided to build that and put it really close to the ship. The other thing too is that all the people were on the wing and they were actually in the water. And so I had to get the angle exactly right so the tail was underwater here, and it just came just below the emergency exits there. So then I glued all the people on there, and I poured the water using Woodland Scenic's realistic water, and then I used Woodland Scenic's water ripples to make the waves. And then I tried several colors of brown, and I settled with this because the river at times is pretty dirty. Sully and those guys did such a great job. It's an honor to reproduce this in a model form.
That's it for this year's Best of winners, but there's more to come from IPMS. Check out our video of model cars seen at the show, including the Best of winner describing his Vega Dragster, and a special interview with Tom Walsh, a 4-time Best of winner and still building at age 90.